everyone, it's Railcon. You're watching another Supernatural review, and this is season 14, episode 9, The Spear. If you're new here, I do recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. Using a mic again, and I try to clip it. I don't know how to clip it on. I don't know how to do it. So until then, I have to hold it like this, which is annoying, but I don't know how to clip it on. Maybe my boyfriend will help me. I don't know. Did I already say if you're new here, I do a recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. So I have this episode on the top of the good list. I was kind of debating. I kind of felt like it deserved to be in the good list, but I was kind of debating like if it should be on the top. It's there now. We'll see what happens. So this is obviously a very serialized episode. We've been having a lot of serialized episodes, and I'm pretty sure this is like the mid-season finale. If you don't know what the mid-season finale is, shows that had like 20 plus episodes a season, they would kind of have a mid-season finale that was like kind of towards the winter break, and maybe it was like a month off or something in between that, and it wasn't like exactly halfway through the season. So this is like the 9th episode. It's close to halfway, but it's not exactly like halfway point. And I think the year prior they had that when it was like kind of like leading up to the Wayward Sisters episode, and then the next episode was the Wayward Sisters. So obviously, like when this happens, like it's a very serialized episode. It leaves it off a cliffhanger, whatever. This episode kind of felt like they were all teaming up, even though it was really just the 4 of them. It was like they were all teaming up for a goal. The goal was to get Michael, Jack, he's feeling good, he's better and all this stuff. There was some comedy with that. The goal is to get Michael. Totally forgot Michael was in a woman. Kind of iconic. Good of them to do that. And Garth is there, and we haven't had Garth in a while, and sometimes I'm very critical of how like Supernatural brings in like these like guest star characters. Like, okay, they have to have 1 or 2 episodes a season, so let's make it. Those episodes tend to be not as strong, like they kind of feel a little bit forced. I don't think Garth or the actor has that in his contract that he really needs to be in 1 or 2 episodes, or I don't even know if it's in the other people's contracts, but it happens. But we haven't seen Garth for a while, and I actually felt like how he was used this episode makes sense. Is trying to like, I feel like it was used in 2 ways, because it makes sense to have a werewolf, and then it was like it made sense that Michael was using Garth to get to them, like that there was that connection. Like Michael, like how did they not know it was a trap? So now knowing all this, like basically what happened is Michael wants to destroy the spear, and Michael wants to get his number 1 vessel back, Dean Winchester. So basically he knows that Kaya is not going to give him the spear. He knows that's not going to happen, and the only Dean was going to get it back. So that's exactly why he left the door open, Dean to get it back, this whole thing. So that's why he technically led them to where the spear was. Like, how did they not know, okay, they're not here, but Kaya's here, something's up, why aren't they here? It's because they want you to bring the spear to them. It was a trap, because obviously, like, Michael has tried to fight Kaya before, has lost, so kind of like was like, I feel like I can get, and Dean won, so it feels like that's the whole thing with that. I think they took Jack, obviously, to have some leverage so that they could come after them, so that happened. And then the fight scene at the end, and then taking Dean back, which I think is like the big thing where how the episode ends. I feel like the thing at the end is the speech. The speech that makes sense, because the whole thing was to get back the spear, and he never mentioned it. I do feel like, yes, a little bit like, he couldn't do what he needed to do as Dean. He really needed to build his army, let Dean go for a little bit. But then the whole, like, to, like, really break him down and everything. Like, I don't know about that line. I don't know about that one. To really, like, destroy him, break him down. Like, I don't know. And then they never mentioned the spear, which, like, now that's why I'm like, the whole thing makes sense. It's literally in their eyes. Like, it would have... The speech is not that strong, and usually I feel like Supernatural's good at writing these speeches, especially if it's done by Dean, but in the way maybe it's done by Michael, so it's like different. But yeah, like, why not even mention like getting the spear so he could destroy the spear, because that was part of it. It wasn't just to get Dean back, like he destroyed the spear, and I don't know if the spear ever gets fixed again. I'm not exactly sure. So anyway, it wasn't a perfect episode, but I feel like, it was good team up, some iconic moments. I feel like if this was maybe in another season, it wouldn't even be on the good list. It's just like this season's been struggling a little bit, And I definitely feel like there's something for this episode, so maybe it would be lower in the good list. I don't know what I'm saying. But hopefully we get better episodes. I think now Dean has Michael back. So it's like, what is that going to look like? How long is he going to be Michael? Like, we thought we got over this. It's kind of like, how are the writers, like, do the writers know where they're going with this? Anyway, so I'm going to hear, I think it really, puts up for the rest of the season, and we're going to see how it goes. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.